The following is a hockey podcast out of Vancouver and Surrey, British Columbia. It'll only consist of a lot of puck talk and even more BS, or in actual words, banter and satire. Enjoy, and as always, go Canucks go.
The Canucks' next move cannot be Jack Roslovic. Patrik Allvin, whip out those big balls, because it's time to get bold, baby.
You're Locked On Canucks, your daily podcast on the Vancouver Canucks. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey, welcome to another episode of Locked On Canucks. My name is Trevor Beggs, co-host of Locked On Canucks, and also a Canucks writer currently with Daily Hive, Vancouver. Before we dive into the show, we got to thank you and you for tuning into Locked On Canucks, because it is your Canucks every damn day. And we're not here without you tuning in, so we appreciate the hell out of you for doing so. And I let my co-host Kyle Bhawan down yesterday, man. But you got through 55 minutes of going through every single move by Patrik Allvin. But enough about the past. Let's get to the future, because I think the Canucks' next move has got to be bold, okay? When you're stuck in the mushy middle, it is no man's land. And if the Canucks are truly going to make a push next season, we know they got to improve this forward group. And the best way to do so might be to find the next Brandon Hagel or the next JT Miller.
Hand and bagel. They need hand and bagel. That's what you're saying, right? The next man, they need hand and bagel.
They need lots of bagels. Yeah, exactly, bro. Exactly.
There you go.
So let's talk about how the Canucks can acquire lots of bagels on the trade market. What are some players that fit the description of a Hagel or a Miller in terms of, finding a player who can break out and be a difference maker for this hockey team? We'll get some teams to target, some player options as well. Before we do all of that, let me introduce my co-host. You know who he is. Kyle Bhawan, my brother. What's going on, man? Sorry for letting you down yesterday.
Yeah, you gave me a list of 77 acquisitions to go through by myself, and I didn't even make the list. You made the list, but there I was again. Talking for 50-plus minutes, being ditched by Trevor Beggs because, he's got to be a family man before he's a Canucks fan. I called him out. I held him accountable. I listened back to that episode. I'm like, dude, I called Trevor out 3 times on that episode. People probably think I really took it personal. Yo, I did. It's accountability. It's okay. I've read the Bill Belichick book. Bill Belichick has a lot of game. Did you know that, Trevor Beggs? Bill Belichick has a lot of game, and I'm learning, okay? Anyways, Trevor's learned too, because if you guys can't hear it, technology, this guy's child is crying in the background, but he's like, I got to be a Canucks podcaster today. I got to talk about Brandon.
Got to make up for yesterday, man. Yeah, worst dad in the world.
You're hilarious. All in all, though, I'm curious to see, a new list from you, because I'm assuming that you have like 4 or 5 names that are similar to like Hagel or JT Miller, right? Who can we give up a first-round pick and a prospect for, or 2 first-round picks for? That's in their mid-20s, and I know that's risky, but it worked out. Like, Hagel is a quote-unquote, I'm gonna say it, superstar sometimes, okay? For real. JT Miller, when he's at his best, he's one of the best players in the game, and both those players were acquired for quote-unquote not very much. So, Trevor, take it away. Who are these guys? And I can't wait to tell you who my guy is.
Yeah, I actually have I think there's about 9 teams to potentially look at. There's multiple guys on some of these teams, but I think the idea, let's talk a bit about Miller and Hagel first and foremost. Right? When Miller got acquired, we know that story a bit better. Got traded to Tampa Bay, was a point a game guy, and then his first and only full season there, he kind of fell to being about a second liner, right? 47 points in 70 something games, and of course, bust out in Vancouver as a legit superstar. Brandon Hagel, 21 goals and 37 points in 55 games, I believe, before he got traded to the Tampa Bay Lightning at 23 years old. So he was a player on the rise, but certainly not a superstar. And I credit Tampa for having the foresight. This guy became a 90-point player last season and hasn't helped them to a cup win, but did help them get to the Cup Finals in his first year in Tampa Bay. And again, he's not the problem in Tampa Bay. He is an absolute stud out there. So can the Canucks find a guy like that? And I'm going to start with the most obvious name out there, and we'll get to some maybe names that aren't talked about as much. But for me, Mason McTavish, and we've talked about him a lot, so I'll touch on it quickly. But he is a guy, 22 compared to Hagel being 23, a bit more established than Hagel was, of course, and plays center as well. But I mean, I think if you're looking at the Canucks getting McTavish, you're looking at a similar return, right? And the return for Hagel was they traded Hagel and 2 fourths for 2 first-round picks and 2 young-ish players. It was Taylor Radish and Boris Kachuk. So You could probably talk about your AHL tweener guys if you want to go down that road. So it's going to be expensive to do a deal like this. I mean, the longer Mason McTavish remains unsigned, the more this remains a question. But that is a guy I'm looking at because, again, he's not signed right now, man. He's still available to get.
Are you doing that? Like, are you doing 2 first round picks and like whatever? Like it could be, I don't know, like Max Sasson and whatever, or Mancini and 2 first round picks for McTavish. Like an Atu Ratu. Are you doing that? 2 first round picks, Atu Ratu and Mancini for McTavish. Boom, bam, bada bing, bada boom. Make that trade. Duck to a Canuck.
Yeah, it's risky, man, but I think that's the kind of bold move Allvin's got to make. I mean, I would probably put protections on the 2026 first.
That's it. That's it. I'm doing that trade.
I think I would be making that trade.
I'm doing that trade. You put protections on the 2026 first round pick. Make sure it doesn't hit to be a first overall pick because I think we got to be confident in next season and hopeful because that's life. What, you want me to go through a whole summer when it's sunny out here depressed about the Canucks? No, I think that, with the best player in hockey, one of them, Quinn Hughes, and some good goaltending, anything can happen. And let's get back into the dance and maybe we'll win the dance. Okay, let me be delusional. But at the same time, you got to admit, is this team a Quinn Hughes injury and a Thatcher Demko injury? Like the Demko side of things is like there's a 50% chance. Let's be real. That happens. I'm not being rude. I'm not being an asshole. I'm not being pessimistic. I'm not being a witch. I'm just looking at the stats. Like, he's injury prone, right? And what if Quinn Hughes gets hurt again? Like, the Canucks are a lottery team, so you have to protect that first round pick, especially because it's Gavin McKenna. That all being said, you get that done, and Mason McTavish has to be the top target. And 2 first round picks, Atu Ratu for McTavish. Bada bing, bada boom. I'm doing it. If it's protected. Bada
bing, bada boom. Yeah, and again, McTavish, I'd say maybe one of the pricier players on my list in terms of acquisition costs, but a guy the Canucks got to look long and hard at. We've talked about that here on Locked On Canucks. Now, I want to talk about another team, and Kyle, we might have to do a standalone episode on this because I had a lot of fun riling up Montreal Canadiens fans last summer when we talked about getting Arbor Jackeye. We had them all riled up and going off on us, but
they thought Arbor Jackeye was like Bobby Orr or Robinson or something or Savard, man. I thought they were trading Maurice Rocket Richard, man. Anthony Calvillo. They thought we were trying to acquire Anthony Calvillo, man.
Dude, that was unbelievable, man. But I'm not sure if they'll be as pissed this time. But I'm looking at the Montreal Canadiens right now, and there's 2 guys who I think have breakout potential in the right environment, and it's Alex Newhook and Kirby Dach. And I think fans might go, really? But, Kirby Dach, obviously high acquisition cost for Montreal and missed, 80 games last season, got into 57 last year. He's taken a step back from where he was a couple seasons ago, right? It was hard for him to miss a whole year and come back and be injured. Alex Newhook took a step back last season too. And you look at Montreal right now, and both those guys, again, taking a step back last season. Now this team's added Ivan Demidov. They've added Zach Bolduc. Like, that forward room is even more crowded. I do wonder if Alex Newhook and Kirby Dach are players who could, they're not going to give them away for free, but maybe the acquisition cost is a little bit lower, knowing that is a crowded forward room in Montreal, and maybe they could use some other assets to bolster their team in other places. So of those 2 players, I mean, Kirby Dach's got the higher ceiling. I mean, Alex Newhook's a good player too. I just think he's, again, buried on a young Montreal team with a lot of talent. But those guys would be a little cheaper than a Hagel or a Miller type deal, I think.
Or a McTavish. Yeah. Like, could you get Kirby Dach right now for like 2 seconds? Like the opposite of a Hagel and the quote unquote Miller trade? Like, is that possible? Because you're talking about, a guy with some pedigree, and I don't know, like he at 58 games a couple years ago, he had 38 points. Like, congratulations. But over the last 2, he's been injured, and he's also just been like Kirby Dach when he was in the lineup last year. Like, would you do that? Like 2 seconds for Kirby Dach? Is that too much? Because I agree. I agree. Like, that'd be a cool flyer to take, but it's quite obvious you really don't know what you're getting.
Yeah, I'm not sure if the Montreal Canadiens would do it. I'm gonna say yes just to piss them off. But what, 2 seconds?
No,
well, I'm looking at their depth chart right.
Their depth chart, but they I don't know how much salary cap they have. Like, isn't like every team up against the cap? Like, How much does Kirby Doc make right now? Like, I'm assuming he's making some decent change. He's got
Yeah,
some
so
pedigree.
Kirby Doc's got 1 year on his deal left, around $3.3 million. He's an RFA at the end of next season. So yeah, he's either gonna be due a raise or he's not gonna have a great season, and you could get him even cheaper. But
Dakota Joshua had the exact. Didn't Dakota Joshua have like a very similar year to his career high? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, Kirby Doc's point per game average is a little higher than Joshua's, but and much more pedigree. Obviously, he's a third overall pick from 2020, I believe it was. So, but yeah, Alex Newhook's at $2.9 million. I mean, look, again, by getting Zach Bolduc, who I think has some top six potential in his game. They don't have a super deep center ice group, so I think they'd want to hang on to probably one of those guys. But I think that one of those guys could be had, and 2 seconds for Doc. A second for Newhook. I mean, Newhook only had 11 goals and 26 points, and he played almost, I think, the full 82 last season. He didn't have a great year. So I do wonder if, again, those guys, young, have some upside. I thought both players would be guys I'd be interested in if I was the Vancouver Canucks.
Yeah. Again, don't know much about Kirby Doc, but I like his enthusiasm. Every time I've seen him play, again, he's been injured a lot, so you don't get to see him play a lot. But when he does, you can tell he has a certain level of excitement for the game. So.
Yeah, and he's big. He's a right shot center, which the Canucks really don't have. So, I mean, those things do matter.
Yeah. Well, who else do you got? Because, again, I got a name, but I think I'm going to save mine for the other side. Give me one more before we get to the break, though.
All right, let's do one more, and then we'll get to break. And, the rumors have quieted down around this guy since the JT Miller trade, but I still have Alexis Lafreniere on the list for a couple of reasons. And, look, this guy's about to begin a 7-year deal paying him $7.45 million a season. He played a full 82 last season and had 17 goals and 45 points. Like, those are Elias Pettersson numbers, except he played more games, right? Obviously, sky high expectations for this guy. He's yet to crest 60 points in the season, I believe. He's obviously got ties to the Canucks because of Emile Castonguay. I think we're thinking of the JT Miller trade. Like, yeah, there's no way we're getting this guy. We would have got him in that deal if we were going to get him. But I say never, because if this guy continues to flounder in New York, again, you got another trigger-happy GM and Chris Drury, who's still the GM for the time being over there. I do wonder if Alex Lafreniere struggles again. This isn't an off-season trade, but if he struggles again, if he could be a guy that pops up in rumors or that the Canucks try to acquire at some point again here.
It's a lot of money, though, Trevor. That's a lot of money. Like, how do you even make that trade work, and who would you ship out? Like, is that Jake DeBrusk change or something? What is it?
I think it depends if they make any more additions this season, right? But yeah, it's a tough one. I don't know. Like, is it DeBrusk and a draft pick? I know DeBrusk has a no move clause, so that gets a bit tougher. Trying to think who else. I mean, Philip Hedl, would he go back to New York? Probably not. Nils Höglander is always a name that gets brought up too, right? Like, they got almost enough cap space where it'd be like Nils Höglander plus, draft picks for Alexis Lafreniere. Obviously, the Rangers traded away a pick in the JT Miller trade. They probably want to get some picks back if they continue to struggle. So yeah.
It wouldn't be a lot for him if, like, let's say he's like 45 games into the season, he has like 19 points. Are they considering him a bust? And that's why it's like Höglander in a first. Like, there's no pedigree left in his name. Like it wasn't that long ago where I don't even want to call them rumors, but Canucks fans were like, yo, if they want Miller, we need Lafreniere. Like, he doesn't even have that type of bravado about him if he struggles early on this season. You think it's that quick? Even though, again, it was like 15 months ago in the playoffs, he was like one of the best players in hockey.
Yeah, he was good. And I think if any team is going to look at the Alexis Lafreniere as a bounce back candidate, it's the Vancouver Canucks, because A, he's had chemistry with Hedl, and B, he's got relationship with Emile Castonguay. But yeah, the Rangers obviously aren't going to give him away for free, but would they call him a bust? I mean, potentially. It's interesting because he's got, the next 2 years when his contract kicks in, he's got no trade protection. It's only in year 3 that he starts to have a modified no trade clause. But I mean, yeah, it's just been such an interesting tenure for Alexis Lafreniere, right? I mean, had the breakout in 23-24 and then took a massive step back last season, and really didn't drive play either. So yeah, I do wonder what the tipping point is for the Rangers, but I think there's a lot of pressure there because they were one of the most disappointing teams in hockey, along with the Vancouver Canucks last season.
No, 100%. And yeah, I don't think the Canucks are going to be in like the Lafreniere quote unquote sweepstakes. I don't think they're, again, the cap situation is kind of weird. And I just feel as if they don't have the horses to get it done. And I touched on this a little bit yesterday when we went over every single Patrik Allvin move. I think I missed the Lecker Mackey one, but whatever. The Canucks have traded they've traded a couple first round picks in the last couple of years, and if they still had those picks or made picks in those selections, then I think like swinging for a big trade is obviously more possible, but like again, attainable, because right now they're chasing it. And I feel like they have to give up the most to get a chance back. For real. And it's like this team has only made the playoffs once in the last like 10 years or whatever, like the real playoffs, and they're still, having to move at a lack position when it comes to acquisition. Interesting. So they're gonna have to take chances. So that's why I'm like, they're gonna have to trade one of Lecker Mackey or Willander, most likely, to get this guy that you're talking about. That's what it feels like. It's because they don't want to trade DPD. So, anyways, Locked On Canucks. More on the other side. Brandon Hagel, JT Miller, trying to make a trade like that. Okay, ironically, both involved in Tampa, but hey, a lot of picks, right? When Vancouver got Miller, it was a first and a goalie and whatever, and we got a guy who turned into a superstar. Hagel went to Tampa for 2 first-round picks, and the Canucks do the same with some random player. We'll get to more names. Trevor, who we shouting out on this, again, episode of Locked On Canucks?
We'll find out on the other side, baby. All right. Before we get back to it, let's shout out our friends over at FanDuel. You know, if you're betting on sports, the only place to go to is FanDuel, man. I mean, summer sports are in full swing. The MLB and, of course, my favorite, the CFL, baby. Nice Anthony Calvillo shout out there in the first segment, Kyle. That was beautiful, man. Shout out to Anthony.
Yeah.
Shout out to Dave Dickinson. Shout out to Buck Pierce, coach of your BC Lions. Anyways, if you're betting on sports, make sure you go to FanDuel, okay? It's the best way to make every game even more exciting. And come on, you're already following the action. Why not make it a little more thrilling? With FanDuel, you can get in on the game while your friends are getting sunburned at the beach. I've been using FanDuel to track my favorite matchups in the app. They keep it fresh with new daily promotions and fun ways to bet, okay? And if you're new to FanDuel, new customers can bet just $5 and get $150 in bonus bets if your first bet wins. Open the FanDuel app today or visit FanDuel.com to get started. A boom, bam.
Boom, bam. People, we back doing this, and that's talking about your Canucks over here at the Don't Doze Art Lab. And on here, well, on this show called Locked On Canucks, my name's Kyle Bhawan. That right there is the worst dad in the world, okay? Trevor Beggs, man. Your kid crying in the background. Has he settled down?
No, he's still crying.
Okay, Trevor, so there was a point in your little spiel there a couple times where you were disconnecting like crazy, but I let it stick because I was trying to like hear, some of these traits of these players that you're bringing up. I'm hockey nerding out, and I thugged it out. And I do want to apologize to the listeners if it did get complicated, but you know what? If Trevor's sacrificing his fatherhood to do this podcast while his kid is crying in the back and probably crying over the Wi-Fi router, I gotta let the guy be. Okay, do your thing. I'm proud of you, man. I'm proud of you today. This is probably the proudest moment of our friendship.
I let my kid cry for half an hour to do Locked On Canucks, man. That's
everyone hit the like button, man. This guy's crazy, man. This is crazy, man. Books out there. If you listen to some podcasts or watch some TikTok clips, like right now, this could be a traumatic experience. But Trevor Beggs is like, no, it's life, baby. Get used to it. Life's tough. Look at this comment from Mother Knucker. Sending over $2. We're definitely gonna give this to Trevor's son. He's saying go eat a cactus at Cactus Club. I don't know what we can get for $2 at Cactus Club. Truffle sauce. Yeah. You ever just take a straw and put it in the truffle sauce? It's the Vancouver Passage, man.
Dude, straight up, man. I smoke the truffle sauce, man. Come on.
Ooh, wee. Anyways, more names, Trevor. Give me a couple more, then I'll give you mine. Do you have a couple more? Like, I'm putting you on the spot. We didn't even go over like the game plan.
No. My article on Daily Hive is prepped and ready to go, man. I got lots more names, man. Maybe I won't give you all of them, but
okay.
I'm gonna go with the one that maybe a guy that hasn't been talked about as much, but it's Alex Laferriere of the LA Kings, maybe the most niche name on this list. And I don't think he has the ceiling that Brandon Hagel does, but there are similarities between both guys. I mean, neither Hagel or Laferriere were highly touted prospects. They both kind of slowly ascended the ranks after being drafted. They're both physical. They're both got that high work rate that Patrik Allvin and the Canucks love, and they both got a scoring touch that's kind of that has blossomed at their ages, right? Hagel with that 21 goals before he got traded. Alex Laferriere, 19 goals, 40 points last season. Very similar to Kiefer Sherwood, but again, he's only 23 years old. LA right now, I think, is a fascinating team because of the offseason they've had so far. Speaking of dumb and desperate, I feel like Ken Holland maybe embodied that the most of any general manager this offseason, being dumb and desperate. And I do wonder, again, you get a team that's missed the playoffs in 4 straight seasons, if they just start to make some silly moves. And, Alex Laferriere, yeah, I mean, I don't know exactly what the return is, and you got to be careful with giving up too many assets because he's not a star player in my eyes, but I think he could have some breakup potential. He certainly started to ascend quite a bit there in LA.
I've seen him play a couple times too. Again, you watch a lot of playoff games involving the Kings. The Oilers are always on TV at this time. Even last year in the regular season and the year before, I like this guy's work rate, He's always in the trenches. He's a smart player, right? But you do the math. There's a reason why, he's, bounced around the lineup when it comes to like forward positioning, but he does see quite a bit of time with guys like Kopitar throughout the season, right? And it's because he just kind of knows what to do. And again, like, is there a bigger hit there? I don't know, but I would be interested in bringing, if the Canucks have a good season this year and the Kings don't, and the Kings want to go full rebuild, because now there's rumors of Kopitar retiring at the end of the year, all that jazz. Like, even if they acquire a guy like Lafreniere and he doesn't get better, that's okay. Honestly, because I feel like you need guys like this to win.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, who wouldn't want to have another Kiefer the Reefer Sherwood on the Canucks? And look, Laferriere doesn't hit that much, but I think there's some similarities between Laferriere, Hagel, and Sherwood. I mean, they work their asses off, and they're a pain in the ass to play against. Let me bring up at least one or two more teams, and I'm gonna go with my last team, the Ottawa Senators. I think there's 3 guys here that I have in mind for a potential trade, and I'll start with Dylan Cousins. And you might say, "Oh, Cousins just got traded to Ottawa; he's not going anywhere." Not so fast, because if you look at the JT Miller trade tree, very similar to Cousins, right? He got traded towards the deadline, played well down the stretch, and then struggled in his one full season there. I do wonder if Dylan Cousins struggles next season in Ottawa, if there's a similar JT Miller-like trade to be made. And this is a guy who, again, kills penalties. He skates fast. He's physical. He can score, but he's really only put it together for one full season with the Buffalo Sabres there. So he'd be a guy I'd have on I will have my eye on next season if he struggles in Ottawa. And a couple other centers there, and Shane Pinto and Ridley Gregg. I mean, Shane Pinto a little older at 24. I think Ridley Gregg's just 22. They both scored at similar rates last season. You could conceivably keep both, especially if Claude Giroux, again, he's not going to be playing forever. But I do wonder, because they are somewhat redundant players. I mean, Ottawa Sens fans might want to smack me for that, but there's similarities in their games. I do wonder if you could pry one of those guys out of there. I mean, look, for me, the return for that is probably a Lecker-Mackey type, because that's what Ottawa's targeting, like young top 6 forwards who can score. Like, they need another guy for their top 6, their top line. I don't know, Kyle, is that a deal you'd be interested in? Like, if Lecker-Mackey has a good season, if one of Pinto or Gregg's having a good season, like, do you make a type of deal like that, like Lecker-Mackey for either Pinto or Gregg?
Or Pinto, I think I do. Again, I like his energy, man. Always smiling, good guy in the room. When he gets points, the Ottawa Senators win. That's when the Locked On Senators made Hockey Night in Canada, because there was a stat that they've been tracking and following involving Shane Pinto. Again, anytime he scores or gets a point, like the Ottawa Senators are like President's trophy winners for real. And again, that's a random stat that I don't know how much that has to do with circumstance or coincidence, but I just feel like he energizes the troops. Like he just has that that aura. Is that what the kids use? That word, the aura about him that allows him to be a pivotal part of a successful team. And he can do a lot of things too. Again, not the best defensive player. I know he PKs and he is a two-way guy. Like, I'm not saying he's a Selke guy, but he could add to again, this is why I think Ottawa won't trade him, but he kind of has the characteristics that would add to again a successful team. The motor, man, like yo, he bet like it seems like game in and game out, he bets on himself, Trevor.
100%, man. And you need guys like that, and you know how much
Guys
Allvin
to
and
bet on
Rutherford.
themselves, Trevor.
Mm-hmm. I should bet on myself once in a while,
I like
man.
a guy who bets on himself every day. Every day, he just bets on himself, Trevor. Are you gonna laugh at that or what, man?
Is that what you do, buddy?
Shane Pinto does that.
Oh, yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah.
I can't say I do that, but what I can say is that I do want to hear your potential Brandon Hagel trade target. I obviously didn't mention him yet. Let's get to that, Kyle, and get to a couple comments as we wrap up here on Locked On Canucks.
People, we back doing this, cracking bad jokes and talking about your Canucks and predicting, the next big trade in Canucks history. We got Kyle Bound, Trevor Beggs, and we got you and you again here on Locked On Canucks. Dan Jardine saying Pinto beans will blow you up from the inside. Pinto cars will blow you up from the outside. I don't know what a Pinto car is. I know what Pinto beans are. Do beans make you go to the washroom? Is that a thing? Beans make
yeah, dude. You never had a nice little bean poop?
A nice bean poop. Okay, well, Trevor, I don't know, man. Maybe we make, as a Findu and you're an Irish Canadian man or whatever, maybe we make beans differently, man. We make dal, with lentils. Do you guys put pinto beans in your meatloaf? Like it's a fruitcake?
I've never put pinto beans in my meatloaf. What I'll do is like a nice like a baked bean or refried bean, like as a side dish maybe, but no, in the meatloaf, no.
Baked. So what do? You throw the beans in the air fryer or something?
No, I don't even have an air fryer, man. Come on. What, dude, how much money do you think I make off this podcast, man? Come on.
You don't have an air fryer because you're protecting your children, man. I know you, man. You don't have no plastic in the house, no microplastics, no microwaves, no nothing, man. I like it, man. It is what it is. For real. Anyways, one more comment here on Locked On Canucks. Look at this comment from Doug, man. I don't think we need to get any more players. We have young guys who played really well. Winning the Calder Cup, like, do we have the next Shane Pinto? Is Achu Ratu that guy? Could be. We should use a couple of those guys first. And, he sees that, like, from moving these guys out or we're bringing other guys in. And then what was the purpose of developing those players? I like his energy. I like his energy there, man. Because I think there's a little bit of truth there. Like if Aatu Ratu pans out and if like, let's say Arshdeep takes the next step, which I'm like 51% about, I got to get my Surrey bias up a bit, but let's say he does, I'm confident in Max Hassan. All in all though, they're just spots on the roster for players to get and like do any, I was going to ask you, like, do any of those guys take the next step? Can I just like focus on one guy? Like is Aatu Ratu a player? Like he has a big opportunity here to be like, quote unquote Shane Pinto-esque?
Yeah, I mean Aatu Ratu, I think of those four guys, Ratu, Carlson, Sasson, and Baines. Like he easily has the best chance to break out because he's being gifted a massive opportunity, right? And I think other teams, like I was just on an Edmonton Oilers show before hopping on here, Kyle, and they were like, "Ooh," when I listed out the Canucks centers, they're like, "Ooh, that's rough." And I think there's so many wild cards, and Aatu Ratu's one of them, but. He showed something last season. I think, again, if he can just take that extra step, I like his potential to be a third line center for the Canucks. I think it's a huge risk. But man, oh man, I mean, he's got the ability to hit on that, right? And you see other 22-year-old centers coming to the league, like Ridley Gregg, for instance, and now he's kind of like a 12-goal, 30-point guy, pain in the ass to play against. Can Aatu Ratu be that? I mean, it's a big step from last season, but I think he's got the potential to do it at the very least. And probably just of the guys you mentioned, the highest ceiling, he's the youngest guy, he's got the biggest opportunity. Like he is, of those four guys, easily the one that's easy to project making an impact on this roster next season.
Yeah, dude, and we should be rooting for that because I think he did prove himself last year, man. I know we got garbage time minutes at the end there, and you got a lot of opportunity and blah 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 blah. Dude, no. Give credit where credit is due. I know last year was an absolute mess, but one of the dubs was, it wasn't just deep Petey. It wasn't just like, oh, Max is on every now and then, like his development. It was Atu Ratu, like making the team out of camp and then finding his game later on in the season, all while also going bar down against Pittsburgh, like in November or whatever. Yeah, I just feel like he showed glimpses. He took a step for real. Anyways, speaking of taking a step, let me say this name, okay? Let me say two names, okay? The first name is one that I think like has a 50% chance of happening because I still think Buffalo's going to suck. I think Buffalo's going to suck. And I think even if they have players under good deals or whatnot, like a full-on explosion, desperation, irrationality. And again, they just signed this guy to an extension. And I'm not like super extremely high on this player as far as him being a grand slam for sure, but I do like his base. We've seen quite a bit of him, and it's Ryan McLeod. And I mean, again, playing in Buffalo last year, the epitome of garbage time everywhere. Like, who knows how many of his 20 goals he scored when the score was like 8-1, right? For the other team playing Buffalo. But again, we saw quite a bit of him in Edmonton. And I feel like, not by looking at the stats, I just think that like he was probably like a 10-goal guy at the Oilers. But let's say he backs up his 20-goal campaign with the Sabres with like another decent like 50, 60 point year. I wonder if he becomes available. And I would love that, man. I would love to shove it up the rear end of the Oilers if we somehow required Ryan McLeod.
Yeah, and not to mention one of the quickest players in the NHL too. I mean, I think he's easily a player you can see the Canucks being interested in if he were to come available. I mean, look, Hagel and O'Connor, both guys that ranked up there in terms of speed. Yeah, I'm not super bullish on Buffalo either. I mean, again, a lot of parity in the league, you never know. But yeah, if he becomes available, I could absolutely see the Canucks being interested in that guy.
Yeah. And then the next guy is like, come on, man. It's obvious, Trevor. We barely touched on him, but we have to bring it up again, okay? Let's swim in the ocean. Trevor, can you see my screen right now?
Sure can, buddy.
Okay, let's view the story. There he is, buddy.
Woo-hoo-hoo!
Filip Hagel, man, rocking all purple in the gym, doing like, what is it? The Czech Republic squat? Like, what is this? This is something else.
How many plays you got on there, man? 45, 35, and a 25?
I don't want to show. What was I gonna say? I don't want to show my girlfriend that.
Yo, I think he's doing 250 pounds on a one-legged squat, man. There you go. That's your second line center for the Vancouver Canucks right there.
And moving like a ballerina too. Like, how do you even do that? You know that stuff. Bro, you start doing that in the gym, the stuff you'll be doing in the bedroom, man. The stuff you'll be doing in the bedroom. Honestly, dude, like, for real, man. I'm trying to get to a point where I do it with my eyes closed, man.
Dude,
okay,
you'll get there, man. I mean, I can only squat 1/3 of that, but man, oh man, you just gotta practice, man. Filip Hagel, man. I mean, we'll do a bit of a deeper dive on Filip Hagel, something I've wanted to do here in the summer, Kyle, because this guy again, he's averaged 16 goals and 35 points over 82 games throughout his career. Like, what is the ceiling for this guy? And when I see videos like that, I mean, look, it's Pettersson water skiing and Filip Hagel doing one-legged squats, man. Be careful what you post on social media. I'm just kidding, Pettersson. Go live your life, man. I'm just playing.
Well, okay, so what? You're comparing Pettersson's quads to Hagel's quads now? That's what you're doing, you evil journalist? Come on, you get the Farhan Lalji shout out, then you go on Edmonton Sports Talk Radio, whatever, and now you're breaking news. Filip Hagel's quads are bigger than Elias Pettersson's, and what that says about Elias Pettersson's work ethic.
No, Patterson's gonna have a 100-point season, man. No, he's in fine shape, man. Yo, you need to use your legs when you're water. Is it wakeboarding or water skiing? I can't remember what it was, but you got to use your legs in that, man. So Patterson, he's gonna be fine. Heel's breaking out. It's all good, baby.
I know. You got to go because, like, again, you got to be a dad.
Yeah.
I have a couple quick points. One love to a Leafs fan forever, whatever, bros. Always good to see you. Talk some Canucks. Bright future ahead. Thank you so much. And just to touch on Hagel even more, I believe, man. I just like, again, why am I so close to the enthusiasm when it comes to me like pointing out what I like about players, but I just love this guy's enthusiasm, and I want this guy to do good. And he worked his ass off to try to get back into the Canucks lineup when they were out of the playoffs. And he just joined that team. Like that's how much he loves the game, and he's risking his life, the concussion stuff. Like, yo, he's got that love for the Canucks, and I totally gotta appreciate that, man. And my second point, I forgot my second point, but you know what? That's karma. That's the way it's supposed to be. We got to look out for your son. My name's Kyle Bhawan. That guy's Trevor Beggs. Hit the like button. Join the Substack. Join the Discord. Link in the bio. Read our text messages. It's all down there. And you know what, Trevor? I'll end it on here. One left to Filipino, man. One left to Filipino. Okay, Trevor, any last words?
Oh, go Canucks, go, man. Filipino, maybe your first line started the Vancouver Canucks, man. Come on. Get the hype train out of control.
Okay, all right.
Your Locked On Canucks, your daily podcast on the Vancouver Canucks, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.